Audio Jungle.
3 police officers have been sacked after a student was left paralyzed and brain damaged during a scuffle outside a nightclub. Julian Cole, then 19, was seriously injured near Elements in Bedford on May 6, 2013, after he was thrown out of the venue and kept going back to ask for a refund. During the confrontation that followed, he was brought to the ground twice, once by a bouncer and once by 3 police officers. It was only discovered after he had been carried to a police van and driven 1 mile to Greyfriars police station that he had a broken neck. Mr. Cole went into cardiac arrest, suffered brain damage, and is now in a vegetative state and needs 24-hour care.On. Monday Pcs Hannah Ross, Sanjeev Kalyan and Nicholas Oates, from Bedfordshire Police, were found guilty of gross misconduct for lying about the teenager's condition when he was taken to and transported in the van. Sergeant Andrew Withey was found guilty of misconduct for failing to carry out proper welfare checks and was given a final written warning. Mr. Cole's mother Claudia Cole said, "Today is a good day for us. When we first saw Julian in a coma and on life support 5.5 years ago, and the police officer told us that he had been chatty in the police van, we suspected a cover-up. This tribunal's decision makes it clear that not only did the officers lie about events involving Julian, but they showed an inhumane indifference to his welfare. Clearing away the lies about what happened that night enables us to get closer to the truth, and we won't stop until we know who put Julian into a vegetative state and until they have had to answer for what they did in a criminal court." The constables falsely claimed that he had been able to walk to the police van when witnesses said and CCTV showed he had to be carried with his legs dragging on the ground and his head was hanging down. They also said he could move his legs and put his trainer back on while in the back of the van. That night, Mr. Cole had been asked to leave the club at around 1:30 a.m. and kept asking staff for his money back. Eventually one of the door staff wrapped his arms around the student and the pair fell to the floor before Pcs Ross and Oates helped to restrain him. He managed to get up again, but a few seconds later was taken to the ground again by constables Ross, Oates, and Kalyan, and he was handcuffed. They lifted him, put him down, and then lifted him again before carrying him to a police van, where he was arrested before being put in the back of the vehicle. He was driven around a mile to Greyfriars police station, where he was unable to stand when he was taken out of the van. A few minutes later, PC Ross called an ambulance. The family's solicitor Rachel Harger, from Bindmans, said, "The findings today are an important step forward in establishing the true events surrounding the night Julian suffered catastrophic injuries." Fresh evidence has come out during the course of the hearing which will assist the family as they seek answers as to who caused the injuries Julian suffered. Julian's mother and father throughout this hearing have shown remarkable strength while being in a position no parent can imagine being in, as they repeatedly watched CCTV images of their son's broken body manhandled by police officers. Their strength and determination to continue their fight for justice commands the respect and admiration of everybody who works alongside them. Mr. Cole's relatives will now ask police watchdog the Independent Office for Police Conduct (IOPC) to reopen its investigation into what happened. The Crown Prosecution Service has already said that no criminal charges will be brought. IOPC Regional Director Sarah Green said Julian Cole was a young, athletic man whose life was changed forever. It will never be known exactly how his neck was broken or if swifter care could have prevented the awful consequences of the break. The panel today have concluded, however, that the officers failed in their duty to provide adequate welfare checks, and worse, that 3 of them were dishonest in how they presented their version of events. This dishonesty has only added to the anguish of Mr. Cole's family. The officers were accused of breaching the code of conduct for honesty and integrity for accounts they gave of Mr. Cole's condition. Assistant Chief Constable Jackie Sabire said, "At the center of our thoughts today are of course Julian Cole, his family and friends. This case is an absolute tragedy which has had a devastating effect on a young man and his loved ones, and we should not forget that. It is clear that no evidence was found that any of the officers involved were in any way to blame for the catastrophic injuries suffered by Mr. Cole." This misconduct hearing focused on the actions of our officers in the care given to Mr. Cole and their honesty and integrity in the events following his injury.